The night everything changed began with a lie. Lena Holloway learned early that silence could feel heavier than chains. At 18, she had already mastered the art of standing still while the world moved around her, learned how to read danger in the tightening of a jaw or the pause before a voice turned cold. The ranch house where she lived sat alone beyond the cottonwood trees, its porch light flickering like it was undecided about staying on. That light had been her signal since childhood: come inside, behave, don't ask questions. Her father, Marcus Holloway, had once been a respected man in Dry Creek County. A widower, a ranch hand turned fixer. The kind of man people trusted with secrets because he never spoke about his own. Or so they thought. What no one knew, what Lena had only recently begun to understand, was that her father didn't just keep secrets. He traded them. And sometimes, he traded her. Not in ways people whispered about in dark corners. Not in anything physical or explicit. But in ways that were just as damaging. He brought men into the house late at night. Men who sat too close. Men who asked questions that made her feel smaller. Men who watched her like she was something owed to them. Marcus would smile, pour drinks, and say, "She's learning how the world works." Lena learned something else instead, that her safety had an expiration date. The night the black pickup pulled into the yard, dust curling behind it like smoke, Lena felt it in her bones. She stood by the window, fingers pressed to the glass, watching unfamiliar shapes step out under the porch light. 4 men this time, too many. Her father's voice drifted in from the kitchen. Calm, controlled, dangerous. "Get dressed," he said without looking at her. "You'll sit with us tonight." Her chest tightened. "I don't want to." Marcus finally turned. His eyes were sharp, assessing, not cruel, worse. Practical. "You're 18 now," he said. "Stop acting like a child." That word, child, felt like a knife. Lena backed away, her heart pounding, until her heel caught on the rug. She nearly fell. And then another voice entered the house. "Marcus," the man said from the doorway, slow and steady. "That's enough." Lena turned. Ethan Cole stood framed in the open door, hat in hand, ranch dust still clinging to his boots. He owned the spread beyond the North Ridge, the kind of land that stretched farther than most people's courage. He wasn't loud. He wasn't flashy. But when Ethan Cole spoke, people listened, because he never spoke without meaning it. Marcus stiffened. "You're not invited." Ethan's eyes flicked to Lena, then back to Marcus. "I was driving past. Saw the lights. Thought I'd check in." Marcus laughed, sharp and humorless. Always the hero. Ethan stepped inside anyway. Lena didn't know it yet, but that was the moment her life split into before and after. Ethan had known Marcus Holloway for years. They'd worked cattle together once, shared fence lines, shared silence. But something had changed in Marcus over time, something that made Ethan uneasy. Rumors floated through town, men gathering at the Holloway place. Deals whispered about but never named. When Ethan saw the truck lights that night, instinct took over. Now, standing in the cramped kitchen, he felt the tension like static in the air. The men at the table went quiet, eyes moving between him and Lena. "You all right?" Ethan asked her gently. Lena swallowed. She wanted to say no. Wanted to scream it. But years of conditioning held her tongue. "I'm fine," she said, though her hands trembled. Marcus smiled too quickly. "She's dramatic." Ethan didn't smile back. "Then she won't mind going home with me for the evening." The room froze. Marcus's jaw tightened. "She's not going anywhere." Ethan stepped closer. "She is." Something flickered behind Marcus's eyes, fear, maybe. Or calculation. The men shifted uncomfortably. They hadn't expected resistance. Men like Marcus rarely faced it. "This isn't your business," Marcus said. Ethan's voice dropped. "It became my business the second I saw her afraid." Silence stretched. Finally, Marcus laughed again, raising his hands. "Fine. Take her. She'll be back by morning." Lena didn't wait for him to change his mind. She grabbed her jacket and followed Ethan into the night, heart racing, breath shallow. As the truck pulled away, she looked back at the house. The porch light flickered once, then went dark. Ethan didn't ask questions on the drive. He knew better. He just drove, steady and sure, the road unwinding beneath them. When they reached his ranch, he led her into the guest room, handed her a blanket. "You're safe here," he said simply. Lena sat on the bed, numb. Safe. The word felt unfamiliar. That night, she didn't sleep. By morning, the truth began to surface. Lena told Ethan everything, not in detail, not with graphic descriptions, but enough. Enough about the men. Enough about the pressure. Enough about how her father used her presence as leverage, as proof of loyalty, as a silent promise. Ethan listened without interrupting. When she finished, his face was pale, his jaw clenched so tight it ached. "This ends," he said. Lena shook her head. "You don't understand. He's protected. People owe him." Ethan stood. "So do I. The first challenge came fast. Marcus reported Lena missing. Sheriff Dalton arrived at the ranch by noon, his badge catching the sun. "Marcus says you took his daughter without permission." Ethan met his gaze. "She's 18. She's here by choice." Lena stepped forward, hands shaking but voice firm. "I'm not going back." Dalton hesitated. He looked at her, really looked. Then nodded. "I'll note that." But the pressure didn't stop. Men began driving past the ranch at night. Tires on gravel. Engines idling too long. Messages left on Ethan's gate. "You don't know who you're messing with." Ethan reinforced the fences. Locked the doors. Made calls. The deeper he dug, the darker it got. Marcus wasn't alone. He was part of a network, men who used influence to control others, to silence them, to benefit quietly. Not crimes easily proven, but patterns were there. Ethan contacted a state investigator he trusted. And that's when the threats escalated. One night, Lena found a note pinned to the barn door. "Come home, or things get ugly." She broke down for the first time since leaving. "I'm ruining your life," she sobbed. Ethan knelt in front of her. "You're saving it. Justice doesn't arrive all at once. It comes in pieces, files opened, questions asked, courage tested." The investigation moved slowly, and Marcus knew it. He came to the ranch himself one evening, unannounced. Ethan met him at the gate. "This ends tonight," Marcus said quietly. "You hand her over, or I expose things you can't afford." Ethan didn't flinch. "You don't scare me." Marcus smiled sadly. "You always were naive." What Marcus didn't know was that investigators were listening. Watching. Waiting. The final challenge came when Marcus tried to flee. He was stopped 2 counties over. Arrests followed. Not dramatic. Not violent. But final. The men who once sat at his table were questioned. Some broke. Others were charged. The silence that had protected them for years finally shattered. Lena watched from the porch as the truth came out. Not shouted, not sensationalized, but undeniable. She expected relief to feel like joy. Instead, it felt like air returning to her lungs after years underwater. Months passed. Lena enrolled in college. Therapy helped. So did mornings feeding horses, learning the rhythm of honest work. Ethan never treated her like something broken. "You're stronger than you know," he told her once. She believed him. On the anniversary of the night she left, Lena stood by the fence line, watching the sunset burn gold across the land. "My father made me believe I was powerless," she said softly. Ethan leaned on the fence beside her. "And now," she smiled, "now I know silence was never my fault."